This is a little NBA recap of what's been going on lately since we talked about it last. We got the Thunder still playing, really well. Other than for that loss to the Lakers, they've kind of stayed really consistent.
Durant's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean Durant. I said on the when we last talked about it that I think Melo should be the MVP. You have a solid case for Durant because that guy is just. He looks determined to get back to where they were last year in the same position to win the NBA Finals this time. I mean, he really looks focused. He came out the gate strong, and they haven't. I mean, they've stuck to what they've been doing the last few years, and they got a good core over there. I mean, they're really playing. They're playing well, and they're the best team in the league probably right now.
Definitely overall one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
they're hard to match up with. And we can talk about the Knicks here a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that you like Knicks a little bit here.
Well, I'm a huge Melo fan, so I mean, I got a little bias towards any jerseys that he puts on, but I mean they've been playing really well. I really didn't think that they'd be playing this well. Stoudemire's come in. He's coming off the bench, and I mean that has been huge because everyone talked about it. Can Stoudemire get in that system? Can Stoudemire play with Melo? But it seems like when they get the big guys in there, Chandler, Stoudemire, and Melo, they seem to have kind of a mesh, kind of a gel. Stoudemire's coming off the bench. He's not looking like he's rusty or having any problems. They weren't playing well when he was starting. Now he's coming off the bench. They found that gear again. They seem like they're meshing really well. I mean, J.R. Smith's been playing above level than what really we've seen from him in recent years. He's always been a good player, but I mean, he's playing really well right now. Jason Kidd, sometimes he looks like the 25-year-old Jason Kidd over in New Jersey playing again, but I mean, he's playing well. They found defense that they didn't have with D'Antoni. So, if they can keep this going, they can stay consistent. They can really challenge obviously the Heat for the East this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say my biggest key was getting that Amari Stoudemire in there and working out with it, and him coming off the bench. They've been doing a lot better than they were when he was starting, and that's a big key for them because if they can keep that going. That's dangerous because we already knew how dangerous they were without Amari.
I mean, and Shumpert coming back once he's 100% from injury, he can really turn it on, add a whole new dimension to that offense. They're a fun team to watch. I really like how they move the ball. They create a lot of shots for Melo, which is when he's on fire. Probably the best pure shooter in the game. It's been a fun season to watch for the Knicks.
They're definitely an electric team.
Yeah, they really are.
What do you think about the Bulls?
The Bulls have. They're kind of surprising, and we talked about last time. They have all the pieces when Derrick Rose is there, but they seem like they got a lot of pieces right now that could. They're playing
even with D Rose out, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're playing better than I thought they would coming into the season. I mean, they've had some overtime games. They were on a pretty good winning streak there for a while. They're squeaking some games out, but they got that close game mentality where when it comes later in the season, they're going to need that mental toughness that they've been creating for themselves up to this point. I mean. Joakim Noah, he's been getting boards all left and right. I mean, it seems like you can't get underneath them right now. So,
Carlos Boozer's been playing huge for the Bulls this year. He's really shown up. A lot of people get a little frustrated with him, but
there's
he's
a lot of
playing
trade talk
right
over the offseason because of how he played at points last year, where it seemed like some nights he was really good, like the Carlos Boozer that we used to see, and some nights it was like, what are you doing? But he's coming out. He's been playing really well. I mean, overall, the backups have been stepping up. Heinrich has stepped it up in Derrick Rose's absence. Nate Robinson has been a piece. He's been stepping in there and playing solid. Luol Deng back from injury. They have
a lot of pieces, and if Derrick Rose comes back healthy, they're a team to watch.
They got a bright side without him. I don't know how far they would be able to go without him in the playoffs, but if he comes back strong like the Derrick Rose that we've been seeing over the last few years, they can be a really scary team. Obviously, they were the number one seed in the NBA in the Eastern Conference last year, so it's not like it's too far-fetched to think that they can make their own little run here once they get completely healthy, obviously, with Derrick Rose.
Yeah, surprising team this year. We got to talk about the Brooklyn Nets a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last time. The team that they were beating weren't really necessarily the top elite teams in the league, but lately,
they've been keeping going.
They beat on Martin Luther King Day. They beat the Knicks in the Garden. I mean, they've been playing like I said about the Bulls. They've been having those tough late in the game, mental toughness, and they're squeaking out these wins, and they've been impressive. I mean, obviously, Williams Stackhouse has stepped up as not the old Jerry Stackhouse, but he's been playing really well as a piece. I never saw that one coming. So
Brooke Lopez has been
yeah,
pretty huge for
Lopez has
them.
been, I mean, one of the best big men in the league in my eyes. He's played really well. So they got a good little core they're going. I think they found a good coach to coach them for here on out. We're gonna see. I mean, they can definitely make some noise. They got the talent, Gerald Wallace. They got a lot going on. We got the Pacers. I mean, we talked about last team. Good fundamental basketball. They play as a good team. They they've really been impressive at times.
Solid team ball. I mean, I guess we'll have to see how far that goes for them, but
Yeah,
I think they can make some noise. They have really good defensive presence. They have big men, Hibbert's up there, and they're a good unit.
yeah. I mean, they do the passing right. They play good defense. I mean, they do all the little things that other teams might not always focus on. Teams with big stars. That's what's got them to this point in the season. They have themselves set up for a pretty good seed in the playoffs. They look like they're going to make some kind of run. We'll see. I mean, can they do it in a 7-game series against teams? Who knows? But right now, night in, night out, they're bringing it with the best of them.
Talk about the defending champions a little bit. You can't ever leave them out of the conversation.
Just lost a triple overtime game in Boston, but at the same time, was that Boston feeding off the energy of Rondo being out? The Heat seem like they psyched themselves out of anything in Boston as it is. I don't know what's up with that. It's not LeBron because LeBron stepped up.
LeBron came up clutch and tied it up. Tied it in the fourth.
I don't know what Wade was doing in the last 3 minutes of regulation.
He made a couple of bad shots.
I mean, just
real late.
Poor decisions. Chris Bosh seems like he's sucking up all the rebounds. We talked about it. They need to make a trade for another rebounder, but at the same time, he had
he went off.
I think 7 rebounds in the 2 overtimes.
KG couldn't touch him.
KG couldn't touch him. The ball was in the air. It seemed like it was a magnet to Chris Bosh. Even offense, defensive side of the ball, it didn't matter. Chris Bosh was in there. Ray Allen stepping up, always making some big shots. Battier's been playing a lot better than I thought he would. They seem like they find a new level in the playoffs. I think LeBron James is kind of just sitting back doing his thing.
He's just doing what he has to do.
They're doing what they have to do to get a good seed in the playoffs, and then once they get into the playoffs, we'll see if they can hit that next level that we all assume they have.
We know LeBron will show up though. That's the one thing we do know.
Absolutely.
The Spurs have been playing crazy good lately.
Yeah, they seem like they're
on fire.
Yeah, they seem like they're untouchable. Don't you always have that point in the season though, where that Greg Popovich, veteran leadership Spurs team goes on this ridiculous run where it's like, oh, here we go, the Spurs are back. I mean, last year we had people saying Thiago Splitter should have been the MVP race. So they do this every year going to the playoffs, and then every year they're a letdown. Can they do it this year? Can they sustain what they got going on right now? Because, I mean, a healthy Tim Duncan is a scary Tim Duncan. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, all the old pieces that we all know about, still doing what they've been doing for the last few years. They're looking good right now. They're looking really good right now.
They are looking good. The only question mark is if they can keep it going late. I mean, they get a little gassed.
Yeah, they do.
They're the older group,
yeah. Maybe rest some players down the stretch a little bit once you lock up maybe like a top 5 spot, maybe even top 4 spot or whatever. But yeah, see, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them here down the road. But they've been playing really well. I mean, they've been sticking it to the elite teams, and they've been winning by pretty much blowouts too. It hasn't even been close.
Another team that's been going on a tear, the Clippers.
Yeah, they're on as of January 30th, they're on a 4-game losing streak. Well, no, they were on a 4-game losing streak. They won on Sunday. Blake Griffin stepped up, had 28 points, 9 assists, something like that.
They've been struggling without CP3.
They were struggling without CP3. I mean, it seemed like they had nobody to step up. Crawford stepping up, making some big shots though. I mean, they got to gel. Blake Griffin is like he's that player. If he can consistently, put in the 25 points and just take games over like he's done in games, they can win without CP3. With CP3, if he can take games over, then they seem like they're unstoppable. They got all the right pieces. I mean, Lamar Odom's been playing pretty well. There's not a lot you can say about the Clippers until CP3 gets back. We'll see if they can make a good run, a dominant run. I like them, but I think Blake Griffin is just not consistent enough right now. We'll see what happens here coming down the stretch.
We talked about them last time. Guys talked about them a little bit this time. The Lakers.
I mean, they beat Oklahoma City, but it's on Sunday. Kobe Bryant, and I don't know.
He's passing like Magic Johnson out there.
He's got 14 assists in their in a 2-game winning streak going on against one against the Jazz, one against the Thunder. I'm impressed with that. D'Antoni, Phil Jackson couldn't get Kobe Bryant to pass, so I'm not thinking D'Antoni didn't step up and was like, "Hey, Kobe, can you pass?" I think
Kobe stepped up and said, "We need to win. If we're gonna win, I think
Kobe's coaching these guys. I think Kobe's coaching himself. I think he's like, what else? What he's gonna do anything possible to help that team win, even if he's got to get 14 assists a night, which is so un Kobe like. But here we are talking about it. I mean, obviously, if you add that to Kobe's game, we're talking about a whole new, brand new takeover, Black Mamba, lethal Kobe that just we've never seen before. That looks like
that's what his commercial's been saying. His new commercials, ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Count on Kobe.
Count on Kobe.
You gotta love it.
Count on Kobe because he really has. He's stepping up. Like we talked about it last time. He's been playing out of his mind. This might be his best season. You're gonna add some passing in here. They might make a run. I mean, they're in 10th seed in the Western Conference. They're not far out. If they get into the playoffs and Kobe's doing this, a healthy Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol, and Dwight Howard seem like they seem fine. They seem like they're good friends now, and they're playing pretty well together on the court. Steve Nash is coming into his own. I mean, Steve Blake, when he comes back from his injury, we'll see. Mm-hmm. Meta World Peace still hitting big threes, playing that good defense. If they can click and somehow, facilitate themselves some kind of defense, Kobe keeps passing the ball. That's a scary Lakers team. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here from now through the All-Star break till the end of the season.
An interesting story that we got here. The Kings might be moving back to Seattle.
It is interesting because, the Seattle fans are probably like, oh, well, we were 3 years away from a team going to the championship. At the same time, no one's showing up. Would you want to move your team from a place where no one's showing up, a really bad team where no one's showing up, to another place which no one was showing up for a bad team? So, if they think it's going to work, if they think it's going to, that's their ownership and that's for them to do. But it's definitely be interesting to see a team back in Seattle. With the Seahawks playing well, you see how live their fans can get. That's about football, which is obviously a whole other universe,
completely different level.
But still, if they can get the right situation, figure out how to get DeMarcus Cousins to check his attitude, and maybe they'll have a little core going on when they get to Seattle. Also interesting, the Pelicans, the New Orleans Pelicans.
I don't like the name. Everybody's been trying to justify.
There's no justification in my eyes in this
saying about how it's a state bird and stuff. It's still a terrible name.
It's a horrible name.
I don't know what they're thinking. Are they still trying to sell that team?
Yeah, no one's going to buy the Pelicans.
That doesn't sound like a team I would buy.
They're going to be in New Orleans. I think they signed like a 5-6 year deal for that city again. But still, you're just. That's kind of like that's suicide when you're trying to sell a team.
You're just not helping.
No, that's a very interesting story. And it's not like what is Anthony Davis and Austin Rivers, are they like, yeah, we're excited to be Pelicans? Like I don't see it. I just it's interesting. It's an odd move, but
hey,
if they think it works, go for it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. That was a little NBA talk on Hood's Huddle. See what we get up with the next time.
Yeah.